Fox News alert. Shock and horror across the world at the deadly Easter Sunday church and hotel attacks in Sri Lanka leave religious and political leaders condemning the violence, which struck on the holiest day on the Christian calendar. Garrett Tenney has more now from Washington. Garrett.
These horrific Easter morning attacks have really unified the global community. Religious and political leaders from dozens of countries and various faiths are condemning the bombings, including Pope Francis. Sri Lanka is home to about 1.6 million Christians, and the vast majority are Roman Catholic. This morning, during his traditional Easter Sunday blessing at St. Peter's Basilica, Francis expressed his sorrow over the Easter morning attacks and prayed for those who were injured and who lost their lives.
I want to express my loving closeness to the Christian community, targeted while they were gathered in prayer, and all the victims of such cruel violence. I entrust to the Lord all those who were tragically killed and pray for the injured and all those who are suffering as a result of this dramatic event.
At least 27 foreigners were killed in the attacks, including several Americans. The U.S. ambassador to Sri Lanka offered her condolences, tweeting, "Deeply saddened by the senseless attacks in Sri Lanka today. Our thoughts are with the victims and their families. We stand with Sri Lanka's people at this terrible moment." Sri Lanka's foreign ministry says at least 5 British citizens are among the dead as well. UK Prime Minister Theresa May tweeted, "The acts of violence against churches and hotels in Sri Lanka are truly appalling, and my deepest sympathies go out to all those affected at this tragic time. We must stand together to make sure that no one should ever have to practice their faith in fear." The Dutch foreign minister confirmed at least 1 Dutch citizen was killed as well, tweeting, "Horrified by the terrible attacks on this Eastern Sunday in Sri Lanka. Our thoughts are with the victims, including 1 Dutch national at this moment. The Netherlands has passed its heartfelt condolences to the Sri Lankan people. We stand with you." Dozens of world leaders, including President Trump, have also said they stand ready to help Sri Lanka any way they can in the wake of these horrific attacks. Arthel?
Garrett Tenney, thank you.
For more on the Sri Lanka terrorist attacks and the targeting of Christians across the globe, let's bring in Nile Gardiner, director of the Heritage Foundation's Margaret Thatcher Center for Freedom. You know, Nile officials are blaming, quote, religious extremists, and there were warnings that a radical Islamic terrorist group was planning attacks against churches. Your thoughts about all this?
Well, firstly, Erica, this is an unspeakable act of absolute barbarism and inhumanity, an act of monstrous evil. And this really has all the hallmarks of an Islamist terrorist operation, extremely well coordinated, well executed operation across several cities in Sri Lanka, and with over 200 deaths and 450 injured. And certainly there's speculation that a small radical Muslim group in Sri Lanka may be involved in this, an organization known as TNJ. But I think that any Islamist group within Sri Lanka would have had some kind of support from a larger Islamic terrorist network, and I think that in many respects these attacks were similar to attacks that ISIS has carried out in recent years in the Philippines, in Egypt, in Iraq, and across the world. Also, there's some similarities to the Mumbai attacks in November 2008, which killed over 100 when a luxury hotel was targeted there. So I think that we are looking undoubtedly at an act of Islamist terrorism. The question is who exactly is responsible for this, but I would say that the evidence suggests a very heavy ISIS footprint in what has happened here.
Yeah, obviously.